Here's one or two recipes on making pastry. Pastry is the same recipe as it's always been, but same recipe as it's always been. Hot water crust. My dad often used to use this for pork pies. It's used, you use lard, but contains butter as well, which makes it good. You can buy pastry which is so easy. The pastry is rolled thicker than usual, so it makes a watertight case for the filling. But you can use short crust pastry if you wish. You can make it in a tin, mainly a large cake tin. So what you do is sift your flour. You will need 475 grams of flour, and stir in the pepper, just a little bit of pepper, about half a teaspoon. Rub in the butter. You will need 50 grams of refrigerated butter and 50 grams of lard. The lard could be, it doesn't have to be cold. Well, perhaps it could just cut it into cubes. Cut it all into cubes. Mix it all together till it resembles coarse breadcrumbs. Make a well in the centre. Put the remaining lard, water, salt in a small saucepan. Bring to simmer, then stir in the flour mixture with a wooden spoon. This will turn the mixture into a thick hot paste that will quickly begin to thicken from the heat of the water. When it is cool enough to handle, mix with your fingers to make a smooth, pliable dough. Cover the dough with cling film and set aside for 30 minutes until the pastry is cooled enough to work with. Do not put it in the fridge or it may go rock hard and crumbly. When you line your tin with this pastry, it is important to make sure there are no cracks. Well, there can be. You just get a piece of pastry and wet the crack with some water and put another piece of pastry on top. And then it will be watertight. That's all there is to it. Rough puff pastry. The same, you can buy this too, but here's how to make it. Put the flour. You will need, let's see, 225 grams of strong white bread flour, a pinch of fine sea salt, 185 grams of cold butter cut into cubes. My dad always used to do this for what is it, mince pies perhaps. 125 millilitres of cold water and 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice. Put the flour and salt in a large bowl. Add the butter, then using a rounded bladed knife gently cut the butter down to mix it into the flour. Keep cutting the butter into smaller and smaller pieces, tossing them with the flour until lightly coated. Add the lemon juice to the water and pour it in the bowl. Keep working with the mixture until your knife until the dough comes together and the bowl is clean. Remove it from the bowl and place on floured surface. Roll the dough into a rectangle with a well floured rolling pin. Your rectangle should be about 3 times as long as it is wide. Fold down a third of the pastry, then fold up the bottom third and press the edges with the rolling pin. Rotate the pastry a quarter turn using the rolling pin. Make 3 shallow depressions across the pastry. This helps to keep the edges straight. Roll into a rectangle again. Repeat the process 5 more times, rolling the pastry into a rectangle, folding the ends until the middle, making a quarter turn each time. To make sure the work surface and rolling pin are well floured, don't worry if some of the softened butter escapes. Just toast heavily with flour and continue. Wrap the pastry in cling film and chill for at least an hour, or overnight if you prefer. Before using, then allow to stand at room temperature and then use. I've got a cold, sorry. You can do flavoured pastries. My dad used to do them, but not very often. But here are some. This is another common one. Sweet short crust pastry, perfect for desserts. Wholemeal short pastry, that can be used for tarts and pies. Cornmeal short pastry, that's used for handheld pies, for lining tart tins. Gluten-free pastry for gluten-free lovers. Well, they're not gluten-free lovers really, but they have to have it. You'll need 250 grams of gluten-free flour, 150 grams of cold butter cubed, 1 medium egg beaten with 3 tablespoons of cold water. Make the pastry as usual. Citrus crust pastry, my dad often used to make this. It's used for, what did he use it for? Just to flavour the pastry. If you wanted lemony pastry with lemony tarts, then that's what you would do. Chocolate short crust pastry, he did that but not very often. It's for tarts and pies, but I wouldn't want a savoury pie with sweet pastry, now would you? For chocolate short crust pastry you'll need 250 grams of plain flour plus extra for rolling, 175 grams of cold and salted butter cubed, 2 tablespoons of stiff icing sugar, 2 tablespoons of stiff cocoa powder, 1 large beaten egg. Make the pastry in the usual way, adding the cocoa powder to the flour, that's important, before mixing into the butter. Makes enough for, well, 1 large tart, about 25 centimetres. Herby crust could be used for a quiche. You can use any herbs you like, chop them finely and add to your pastry. Spicy crust, that could also be used for a quiche. Combination of paprika and dried chili flakes makes it a lovely colour. And that is pastry with Sandra the Monkey Chef. Thank you very much.